On July 13, 2026, a special aircraft was flying over the Strait of Hormuz. As B-2 Spirit stealth bomber was cruising at high speed at an altitude of approximately 65,000 feet. There were 4 crew members on board, 2 pilots and 2 additional crew members. Suddenly, within just a few seconds, a fighter jet streaked across the bomber's path at tremendous speed. The pilots barely had time to react. However, the story had actually begun 43 minutes earlier. At an Iranian coastal radar station, a radar officer was on duty when he noticed a small signal appearing on his radar screen. At first, it seemed routine, but he soon realized something unusual. The aircraft was approaching from the direction of the Strait of Hormuz, an area where commercial passenger aircraft normally do not fly. Initially, the officer assumed it might be a civilian aircraft that had accidentally strayed off course or was experiencing technical difficulties. Thinking it could require emergency assistance, he attempted to establish contact through international aviation communication channels. He transmitted several messages, asking whether the aircraft was experiencing any problems and whether it needed assistance. No reply was received. The aircraft continued flying on the same course. The radar officer then noticed something even more suspicious. Commercial aircraft normally transmit a unique identification code that reveals their registration, origin, and destination. However, this aircraft was broadcasting no identifiable information. His suspicion immediately grew. The officer reported the situation to his superior, who personally reviewed the radar data and concluded that the incident required further investigation. He ordered a fighter aircraft to intercept and visually identify the unknown aircraft. Within minutes, an Iranian fighter jet took off toward the target. Meanwhile, everything appeared normal inside the B-2 Spirit. One of the pilots was monitoring the aircraft's radar, believing they were only minutes away from reaching their planned destination. Then a new radar contact suddenly appeared. The unidentified aircraft was approaching rapidly on a direct course toward them. The pilot was surprised. Since it was approaching along the same flight path, he initially assumed it might be a military drone. Knowing that Iran operates advanced unmanned aerial systems, he immediately became more alert. A few minutes later, radar information indicated that the approaching aircraft was a J-16 fighter jet. This surprised the pilot even more. The J-16, a modern twin-engine multi-role fighter developed in China, is capable of speeds of around 2,100 km per hour and is equipped with advanced radar systems and sophisticated sensors. Seeing such a fighter operating in the Strait of Hormuz caught the bomber crew off guard. At first, the pilot wondered whether the radar information might be incorrect. Bomber crews generally avoid close encounters with advanced fighter aircraft because modern fighters are believed to possess sophisticated electronic sensors capable of monitoring and collecting communication signals. The pilot was concerned that sensitive operational information could potentially be exposed. Within seconds, he saw the fighter jet with his own eyes. It flew rapidly past the bomber at close range. Unlike fighter aircraft, the B-2 Spirit is not designed for close-range aerial combat. Its primary mission is to deliver precision strikes against ground targets from long distances rather than engage enemy fighters directly. Remaining calm, the pilot continued flying while carefully adjusting the aircraft's course. Back in Iran's radar control center, operators confirmed that the unidentified aircraft was indeed a strategic bomber. The fighter pilot was then instructed to issue a warning. Using the radio, he repeatedly instructed the bomber to leave the area immediately. However, no response was received. The fighter pilot then performed a close pass directly in front of the bomber. As the two aircraft passed each other at high speed, the powerful wake turbulence caused the B-2 to shake noticeably and roll slightly to the right. The bomber's pilot quickly corrected the aircraft and regained stable control. Such close flybys are often used as a visual warning, signaling that the other aircraft should immediately leave the area. The B-2 pilot realized that continuing on the same course could unnecessarily escalate the situation. Within a few minutes, he decided to alter course and gradually leave the airspace. As a result of the decisions made by both sides, the encounter ended peacefully without further escalation.